What's up guys, welcome to the part 2 of our photo gallery app. And today what we are going to do, actually we are going to fetch a Pexels API, and we are going to pull down these images from Pexels. And as you can see that we have live photos from the pexels.com. You can load more, as many as you want. Also you can search photos from here. So let's say that dog photos. Now you have all the dog photos from the Pexels API. So as you can see that it's loading more from the pixels. And if you can see also, we have the name, which is the photographer's name, from our Pexels API, and it is dynamically changing. And also we have this thing. So whenever I will click a photo, it will open to a new tab. And also you can see that the resolution of this photo now is the high, means that's the original resolution photos. But what we used here, this is the medium resolution photo that we have here. So it's looking good, and that's what we are going to do. We are going to fetch with the Pexels API, and we are going to pull all the images from Pexels and use it in our own website. So I hope you will like it, and let's dive into it. So welcome to the part 2 of our photo gallery app, and this is the day 8 of our 30 days 30 submits challenge. So in our part 2 of our app, what we are going to do, actually we are going to fetch with pexels.com. So what you need to do, actually you need to go to the pexels.com and create an account. So it's easy to create an account in pexels.com. So just go and create an account. So after that, what you have is, you can see that we can create API. So just from this menu, come to the API section and let's start. So as you can see that we need to give it an explanation here. So just say that so terms and condition, and just request for the API key. So you should get an API key. So just copy this. So in our project, let's create a JS file here. So main.js, and in our JS, what we need to do, actually we need to create a constant here for now. Constant API key. So here I will just paste the API key here. So just we saved it in our JS file. So let's read the documentation here. So that's the documentation, and here you will find all the things that you need to know. So the photo base URL that we need to use is this base URL, as you can see. So we will get back to them. So before, let's get back to our UI app here. So if I come to the UI app, so actually we need to add something here in our HTML. Actually let's add a button under this our photo images. So for that, what I need to do, actually I need to go here, I need to go to the under the header, under the gallery, actually. So under the gallery, let's have a button here. So let's create an anchor tag, and we don't need any kind of href. And also let's have a class, something like load more. Okay, that will be the load more button. So load more, and for the text I will use load more, and that's it. And let's say that display will be inline block, and also margin chop will be 30 pixel, and background color will be black. And also let's say that padding will be something like 20 pixel and 50 pixel. And text decoration, we don't want anything, so none. And also say that text transform will be uppercase. So text not decoration, transform will be uppercase. And after that, let's use the color white, and also font weight I want the bold one, so 900, and also cursor I want the pointer. So we now have this, as you can see. And also let's increase the font size here. So font size will be something like 30 pixel, 20, 15. Actually let's use 500 here. So 50 is looking good for now, as you can see, and let's make it center. So for that, let's come to our container here and just say that text align center, text align center. So now as you can see that we have this button here. So that's what we need for now. So let's get back to our JavaScript here. So we are going to write our JavaScript in object oriented way. So for that, first of all, let's create a class here. So class, and let's give it a name. So I will just have a photo gallery name, and I will have a constructor here. So constructor, and in this constructor I will have all my constant, or you can say that I have all my selection here. Typo here. So first of all, let's have our this constant, as you can see. So just cut it from here and paste it inside of our constructor. So instead of this constant, just remove it, and now what we can say that this dot API key, which means that we have a property in our photo gallery. So let's also have other selection. So for the first selection that we need, actually the gallery div. So gallery div, so which means this one, as you can see. So if I show you, so that's the div that we are going to select. So come here in our JS and say that document, so document dot query selector, query selector. So I can just say that gallery, and also let's say that this dot search form, search form equals to document dot query selector, and I will have the search form here. So actually not the search form, it's in the header, we just have a form. Okay, sorry for that. So it's in the header, we have a form. So after that, let's also get the load more button. So load more, and here say that document dot query selector, and say that load more, load more. So we have now the selection, and after that let's have a method here. So we will have a function which will be the event handle. So basically it will handle all the event for our application. So here what we'll have is, I will have my first event listener, which is actually DOM content loaded. So I can say that document dot add event listener. So I will just say that DOM content loaded, and I will have a function when our DOM content load. So whenever our DOM content will load, after the load we will run this function, and in this function what I will say that I wanna have the images from our API. So what I can say, I will have another function. So this will be this dot get image. So in this get image I will fetch the API. So let's say that outside of our this handler I can create this function. So let's say that get image, and where I will actually fetch the API. To fetch the API, first of all let's go to our pexels.com, and here, so when you have the API key you can also go to the documentation here, and as you can see that that's the base URL for the photo, and in here that we are looking for is the curated photos. So whenever our DOM content will load, we will have the photos from these curated photos. And as you can see that for the curated photos, the base URL will be this one, and if I go to the example, you can get the full base URL that we need. So just copy that, and here in our get image let's create a constant, and let's say that base URL equals to, and just paste the URL here. So that's the base URL for our curated photos, and here what I need to do, actually I need to fetch it. So let's say that constant, so response equals to, I can say something like fetch, and the URL I want to fetch is the base URL. So here let's also set the method. So method will be the get, and also let's have the headers one. So set the header here. So set the header here, and for the first thing that I want is actually the accept. So for the accept, what we will have is we will have the application, and also we will have the JSON. So application. So after that, the accept, we will have the authentication here. So for the authentication, we have authorization. So authorization, and what we gonna have is in this authorization, we gonna have this API key. So just say that this dot API key. So now it will be ready for our fetch. So also let's say that when we will get the fetch in our response here, also we wanna console log the fetch or console log the response actually. So here after that, let's say that console.log the fetch, or sorry, the response. So here as you can see that it is ready. So also make sure that when you go to the fetch, before that we have a await, because I want to make it async way. The fetch, whenever we will fetch the URL, it will take some time. I want to wait my function for this time so that I can have the response, and after that whenever the fetch is finished, I wanna run this line of code. So that's mean if our fetch take 3 seconds, we will wait 3 seconds, and when the fetch is finished, we will get the response here, and after the response we will console log it here. So that's why I need to make sure that I have a await here. So also make sure that when you have a await, you need to make sure here in the function you have the async here. So create the async, so write the async before our function, and it is ready. So everything is ready, and for the last thing is we need to call this event handler in our constructor. So event handle, actually this dot event handle, so we are calling this in our constructor. And the last thing is we need to initialize our class. So for that, let's say that constant gallery equals to new instance of our photo gallery. So now we are initializing, or we are creating a new instance of our photo gallery app, and what it will do actually, it will actually initialize, or it will call this our class. So now we should have the console log. So if I inspect this and come to the console log, as you can see that we have a response here. So it is the response that we are getting here. So we are perfectly having the response here. So let's say that when we will have the response, I don't want to have the response, I want to have the JSON that we are going to use in our HTML website. So let's actually get the JSON here. So constant, and let's say that data equals, we can say that response.json. So it will make the JSON from our response. So now if I save, we should see the JSON from our API. So actually we need to for that we need to console log it. So console.log the data, so data here, and let's check once again. So now as you can see that we are having promise, but it should not give us the promise. So it's giving us the promise because we need to make sure that also here we need to give it a wait here, because I want to console log the data after we parsed, or we have the JSON from our response actually. So make sure that you have the await before our JSON, and whenever I'll console log, as you can see that now we have the data, and in the data we have the page number, or we have the others thing, as you can see the next page URL, and also we have the photos here. So for now we have only one photos, so we can customize it very easily. So as you can see that in our base URL we have per page one photo, so we can make it something like 12 photo for per page. and if I save, now I should see the 12 photos in our console log. So as you can see that we have a photos array, and where we have our all the 12 photos here. So it is fetching the URL perfectly. So now what I want to do, actually I want to make a function only for this fetch. Wherever I will call this function, it will fetch it. So what I can do, actually I just cut it and paste it in a function. So let's say that the function name is the fetch images, and in this function what we will have is we will have these fetch things. So here I will fetch an URL. So also as you can see that we need an URL, so let's pass it as a parameter here, so base URL, and we will call it simply in our get images. So fetch images, so actually this dot fetch images. So I just pass the variable, so which is the base URL. So now what I am having is we have an external function, and this function what it will do, actually it will fetch the URL, and for that what I need, whenever I will call the function, I need to pass the URL that this function will fetch. So perfect. So also let's say that whenever this function will finish the work, it will return us the data. So I can say that return data, and when we return something we need to catch it or we need to store it. So let's say that constant data. So now we are having the data in our this constant. So now we are having the data which we are returning here and storing in our this variable in our get image function. So after that what I want to do, actually I want to generate the HTML for our this response or this JSON. So for that let's actually create a function also. So the function will be generate HTML. So what it will do, actually, as if I open this console log, as you can see that we have an array of our all the images. So in this generate HTML, it will take the array of our HTML. So let's name it photos, and let's call it after our data here. So let's say that generate HTML, and what we are going to pass. So as I said, it will take this array. I just can say that data dot photos. So data dot photos. So in our generate HTML, what I will do, actually I will have a for each loop for each photos. So photos dot for each, and here I will say that for each photo. So for each photo what I wanna have is I wanna have this kind of item that we have for each of our photo. So for that I need to have a div of item. So let's have this div of item. So let's say that constant item equals to document dot create element, and I wanna have a div here. And actually let's also have a class here. So class not like that. So div, sorry, item dot class list dot add. We wanna add a class which is the, if I can see, the item. So let's have an item class here. So now we have a div which have a class of item here. So perfect. So also let's generate the HTML inside of our this item. So I can say that item dot inner HTML, and I wanna have a template, string template, as you can see. So inside of this what I will have is I will have all the things. As you can see inside of this item what I have is I have a anchor tag, and also I have the image and also the photographer name. So let's have those things here. So first of all I will have an anchor tag here where I will have a href of a that link for now, and inside of our anchor tag I will have the image, and source will be the source. I want to have it from our JavaScript. So we are having an error, as you can see, because as you can see that in our previous function we used await here, but we did not use async here. So for that we make sure that async should be here. So now it will have all the things. So in 37 we also have another error here. So in 37, oh, this one. So actually let's say that console. So 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 for our source, what I want to do, actually I want to have the source for, if I open one image, as you can see that in our source we have so many source. So we have landscape and large 2x, medium, original, and portrait, a small, tiny, all the source the available here. So for now I want to have this medium image source. So for that, what I need to do, actually I need to say that photo.source.medium. So let's say that photo dot source dot medium. Okay, so if I save, so I should see an error. So for each of undefined. So as you can see that we are having an error. So it's saying that for each of undefined, so means we can't, so means we can't find these photos, because we can see that in our this fetch, whenever this fetch will finish, I will have the data here. So we need to wait for finishing our fetch. So for that we need to use a wait here. So also make sure that you have the async before the function when you use await inside the function. So I save, as you can see that it's working perfect now. So I have two console logs, so let's remove one. So actually I don't need this one. So now as you can see that I have the console log, and also I have all the images, and the error is now gone. So now we have the image here, and also what I need, actually I need to have the photographer name in a h3. So let's create the h3 after the image. So here h3, and inside of h3 we wanna have our dynamic data, which is the photographer name. So if I open an image, as you can see that we have a photographer property here, and the value is the photographer name. So what I can do, actually I can say something like photo.photographer. So as you can see that we are now in a for each of photos. So I just can say that photo.photographer. So after that, what I want, actually I wanna append this item which we have now in our website or in our gallery app. So what I can do, actually for that, I have this photo gallery div, and I can just say that, so make sure you have this, and just say that, and now just say that this dot gallery div dot append child, I wanna append the item here. So now if I save, we should see the image from our gallery. So as you can see that these images are from the fetch API. So let's remove all our demo images from here. So we have those images here, so as you can see, so let's remove all those. So I will have now the images from our API. So just save it. Now as you can see that the images are from our fetch API, and if I open it, you can see that we have 12 photo here. So that's looking perfect. So now it is working perfectly, and the next thing is we want to have the search functionality. So for the search, what I want to do, I want to create another event listener. So let's say that this dot search form dot add event listener, and I want to have an event which is the submit. So when we submit our form, this search form, we want to have a function. So the function I want to run is this function. So in this function, let's actually have the event. To get the search images, we will also have a separate function. So let's say that this dot, let's name it search images, or it will be good if I say something like get search images. So now we have this function, and in this function we also pass the event here. And let's actually have this function in our class. So let's get this method, actually get search images, and we have an event here. So first of all, I want to have the value from our search, and before that I also want to prevent the default behavior of a form. So e.prevent default. So now we are preventing the default behavior of our form, which is the reloading our website. So now let's get the value from our search item. So let's say that constant search value, make sure that this v is capital. So also, so to get the search form, let's say that e.target. So this means the form, and I want the input actually. So for that I can say that query selector and have the input here. So input, and I want to have the value from our input. So now I have the input here. So after that I wanna have the base URL for the search images. So if I come to the documentation, and here we have the search for photos. So if I open, as you can see that the base URL is changing from the previous one, as you can see. So also if you come to the example, you can see the base URL here. So just copy it and paste it, and before that let's have a constant for that. So constant base URL equals to, paste it here, and that's the base URL for the search. And if you can notice that we have a query here, which is the nature. So I want to have the query as our search value. So for that what I need to do actually, I need to make these in a string template, and now just remove the nature, and instead of nature I will have the search value. And also let's say that I want to have 12 photo per page. So now we have the base URL ready. Now what I can do actually, I can just call the fetch images and pass the base URL, and let's say that constant data equals to fetch images, and I want to pass the base URL here. So after that let's generate the HTML for the search images. So this dot generate HTML. So for that I need to pass the array from our data. So I can say that data dot photos array. So now it will have the generate HTML. So it will generate all the HTML. And before we test, we need to make sure that this is having the await, because we are fetching the URL and it will take some time. And also when you use the await inside of a function, make sure that you have the async before the function. So now if I save, if I come here, let's see that if we have any kind of error here. So let's say that cat. So if I go to the down and down, as you can see we have now the cat images, but it is having in the bottom of our website. So to solve that I can say something like, when we will search, first of all I will do one thing is we will clean our div. So let's say that this dot gallery div dot inner HTML, and I want to clear it and make it an empty string, as you can see empty pair of quotes. So now whenever I will have search something like cat, so as you can see that it's empty, and now we have our cat images. Perfect. So also have dog. Now as you can see that we have our dog images. So also let's actually clear this when we search. So I can say here e dot target means our form dot reset. So now it will reset itself. So let's say that dog, and am I having any kind of issue? Yeah. So in the line 51 target is not defined. Oh sorry. So if I do something like dog, now if you can notice that we don't have the value. So 36. So actually let's use this reset after all of the things here. So I think it should work now. So dog, fog or dog. So now as you can see that when I searched, the search box is automatically empty, it's cleared itself. So perfect. And after that, let's actually go to the this load more button. So for that, let's also have a event listener here. So load more. So this dot load more and dot add event listener. So whenever I will call this, or I will click it actually, whenever I'll click this load more, I wanna run a function. So the function will be, let's say that load more. Also make sure that you pass the event here. So we have the event here, and also let's create the function. So load more and have the event here. And so in the base URL, if you can notice, I can pass another thing, something like page number. So page 1. So for the initial state, I wanna fetch the page number 1, and after that you just need to give it a and person, as you can see. So also you can pass it here. So let's say that something like that, page 1. So now also it should work. So as you can see that it's working perfectly. So whenever I will click this load more, I wanna just increase the number of our page. So let's do it actually here. So for that, what I need to do actually, I need to change this number dynamically. So let's actually convert it into a string template, and now we can use JavaScript here. So instead of 1, I will something like say index, and the index I will have is from the variable, so index. So whenever I will call this get image, I should pass the index, means the page that I want to load. So I am calling this from here, as you can see, and it is the DOM content load, means whenever the website will load, I wanna just have the first page to be loaded. And that's it for the first thing. And also let's have another variable here. So I just say that this dot index equals 1, and whenever I will call this from our load mode, I wanna just increase the number of our index. So I just can say something like let index. So actually make sure that it is page index, page index. So here we are having a variable, or we are having a let, which is the index equals to, we wanna increase the number of our index. So I can say something like plus plus index, sorry, page index. So we are just increasing the number of our page index, and we are having it in our index variable. So whenever I will call this, so now whenever I will reload this page, the number of our index or page index will be increased, and we will have the number 2, and after that number 3. Let me show you one thing. So here can be two things. So if you can see, that's a search query or search URL, and that's a curated URL. So both have the page index here. So I need to make sure that whenever I will in the search, I should reload the next page for the search images. So for that, I can have something like in our encode tag, I can add something like data image equals to, so for the by default I will have the curated one, so curated. And also let's say that whenever I will do a search, so here the get search image, so let's say that this dot load more dot set attribute, and I want to set the attribute which is the data image, and the value will be now search. And also I want to make the change when I will also the get image, which is by default the curated image. So in our whenever I will call this get image, I wanna make sure that the load more attribute is curated, so curated. So now if I check it, so that's the load more, and we have the data image curated. And whenever I will search something, so let's say that dog or fog, now as you can see that data image now it's search, and whenever I will refresh, now it is curated. Perfect. So what I need to do actually, so if our this data image, so I can say something like e dot target dot get attribute. So attribute, so I want to get the attribute which is the data image, so data image, and I want to store it in a variable something like constant load more data. So load more data. So now what I am having is we have the data image, means this attribute value inside of our this constant. So now we can check it. So if our this load more data is our curated, so curated, what I want to do actually, I want to get, or I want to load page 2 for curated, and else what I want to do, I want to load page 2 for search. So here what I can do actually, I can do something like this dot get image, and I wanna have the index as a parameter here. Now what is happening is I am calling the get image, and I am the passing the index which is increased, as you can see here. So if it is now 1 when I am calling the read more or load more here, so it will be 2, and I am calling the 2 of our index. So if I come to the get image here, so the index is 2 and the page will be load 2. So let's check it. So if I come here, so for that what I need to do actually, I need to just console log the data. Yeah, we are console logging the data. So let's open the console log here. So now as you can see that we are in the page 1. So if I just reload it, so we are having a error here. So this dot load more is not a function. Okay, this is happening because we have the same name, as you can see here. So actually let's change the load more images here. So as you can see that we before we had the same name as a constant of our before here. So let's change it to the images here. So load more images, now it will be happy. So now as you can see the console log is the page 1, and if I go to the page 2, and it's loading the page 2, and as you can see that the page is now 2, and if I go to the page 3, now as you can see that it is page 3. So one thing is done. So the second thing that I want to have is I want to have our load page for our search. So for that what I need to do actually, I need to get a function. So I need to create a function. So let's say that get search image. So searched images, actually we already have it, so I can say something like get more search image. So get more search images. So in here that's the function, and in this function what I want to do actually, I want to pass the index here. So let's get the function here. So after this function, so make sure that you have async here. So get more, and I will have the index here. So here what I need to do actually, I need to do this same line for our this new function. So just copy this 3 line and paste it here. So in this 3 line what I'm saying that I am getting the value, and I am putting the value in our base URL, and I am fetching it, and I am getting more data. So before that I need to make sure that we will have the instead of e I can say that search form directly. So this dot search form, actually this dot search form. So now I don't need also the target. So if I save, I should see the next page for our search images. So now we are having this, and if I go to something like that and say that get So now we are in the cat. So it is the page 1 as you can see. So let's go to the load more. We have a problem. So for each is not undefined in line 41. So let's check it out. So we need to make sure that the page should update. So it should be the index. I don't want to have the base URL in await. Sorry for that. So so it's my mistake. So actually the weight should be here only in when we are fetching the data. So is it what we are fetching? So cat and load mode. We are still having this problem. Console log here, console.log the data, so I can see what is going on here. So search, so cat. So we have a 400. So no query param is given. Oh, sorry for me. So query parameter is not given. So that is the query parameter that we have is this dot search form dot query selector input dot value. So I'm not getting the input from here. So should we have this search form? So also let's here console log the search value, and that's the problem that we are facing now, cat. And here as you can see that the cat, but whenever I will call this, so 404 not there, so I just console log in the wrong place. So just console log in our new function. So if I come here and just cat, now we end the page 1. So that's the problem, we can't have our, so that's the problem, we don't have the search value here. So the search value, so just write it once again. So these dot form, oh, the problem is now we don't have the search value because we are clearing the search value here. So for that what I need to do, actually I need to store the search value in somewhere. Okay, so let's say that the search value, so let's say here this dot search value equals empty string. So that's the search value for now, and whenever I will have the search image, so what is the search image, this is the search image, and whenever I'll have the value I will just push it into the string. So I can say that this dot search value equals to the search value, or I can say that the name is the same, I need to make another name. So search value global, and now we can just have the search value from here. So I even don't need anything here, I just close this. Also we don't need this, I just have the search value from this global value. So this dot search value global. So if I save, now it should work. So cat, cat. So page 2, now we have the page 2. Congratulations guys. So we have the page 2 and there is a problem. So let me show you what is the problem. So now we have the page 1 of our curated image, and let's go to the page 2, and also let's go to the page 3. Now we have the curated page 3, and now if I go to the search box and say that cat, now as you can see that we have the cat images, and also if I go to the next page, Now we are going to directly to the fourth page of our cat. So I don't want that. So for that, what I need to do actually, I need to clear the index when I call the search. So let's say that in our search image, what I need actually, I need to clear the index. So not here actually, I need to clear the index whenever I will directly call the search images here. So this dot search global, sorry, search index, so it is the page index actually that I am talking about. So page index will be the 1. So whenever I will search the image, the page index should start from the 1, otherwise it should continue as it is before. So as you can see that 1 2 3, and whenever I will search, it will should go to the 1 instead of this 4. Okay, so that's what I'm talking. So looking good. So actually let's check it out, it's working or not. So let's go to the images and let's say that load more. So 2 3, and if I say cat and load more, it should go to the, why it is going to the 4, it should go to the 2. Oh sorry, I forgot to save the file. 2 3, just say that cat. Now as you can see that cat, and whenever I will just go, as you can see that we are now in the page 2, and if I go page 3, so that's it. So the last thing that I want is whenever I click to the this logo, I want to have to back in our home page or in our curated page 1, means this is the first page that I want to have when I am clicking the logo. So let's make it. So let's say that whenever I will click it the logo, so for that I need to select the logo. So this dot logo equals, so document dot query selector, and I will have the logo. And here let's say that whenever I will this dot logo, so whenever I'll click it, so this dot logo add event listener, and if I click this logo, what I wanna have. So when I will click, what I want to do actually, I wanna clear the page index. So this dot page index should be the 1 whenever I will click the home or logo. So also I wanna call the get image. So let's say that get image, or you can see that this dot get image, and pass the index which should be the page index. So this dot page index, so this dot page index. So the last thing that I want to have is here I want to clear the div, gallery div. So gallery div dot inner HTML should be the empty, so it will clear the gallery, and now we will have just only the index page 1 when we will click this. So save it and let's check it. So now we have here, and if I come to the console log, we are in the page 1 of curated image, and let's go to the page 2, page 3, page 4. Okay, page 4. So if I go to the top here and just click the logo, now we are coming back to the page 1. As you can see, only 12 images. So perfect. And also make sure that we have a cursor when we hover it. We have header h1, which basically means the logo. So I can say that cursor will be the pointer. So that's it. It should work now. I don't know what is it. So dog or fog. So let's say the dog. Yeah, coding. Perfectly working perfectly. So the last thing that I want to add to our app actually, so whenever I will click an image, I want to open the image in a new tab with the full resolution. So for that, what I can do actually in our HTML here, when we are generating the HTML, we have a anchor tag which don't have any kind of href. So what I can do actually, I can have something like the source for our image in a full resolution. So I can say that something like photo dot source dot, so original, maybe original. So that's the one as a href I want, and also make sure that the target is underscore blank. Okay, my bad. So now it should work, and whenever I'll click one of them, it should work into the new tab and it will have the full resolution. Now we are using here the medium resolution, and now we have the full resolution, and if you want, you can right click and save the image in your desktop as a full resolution. So that's it for this video. So that's a pretty much good app we have here, which have a search option, which have a load more page. Mainly this all thing is fetching from an external API, which is the Pexels API. So hope you guys like these projects. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe the channel, because I make this kind of web development related videos. So I hope you will also like those videos. So subscribe the channel to see those upcoming videos, and my name is Arfan and I will see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye, Khuda Hafiz.